tell me what life was like for you and your friends and your family in the weeks before February 24th.
It was as usual in general, but it was tension in the air because of all the news. Plus, I guess I had more information than my surrounding because our American colleagues started talking about possible danger months ago. And in the beginning, for us, it was surreal. We were like, no, it's not going to happen. Come on, guys, it's just news, it's political. So all our American colleagues were really worried, while we in Ukraine were chilled. But because they started trading this topic in Doxyme, we here in Ukraine started creating a plan in case of invasion. And for last 2 months, operation team and me, we were actually taking steps. So we had stages in this plan, and the last stage would be if Russia invades Ukraine. And whenever we had meetings to discuss the plan, it was surreal. We were discussing it, but we never believed that it would actually happen. And while I had that information, I would talk to my family because my dad is located in the east of Ukraine. And I would talk to him like, Dad, listen, it's possible. I want to know what will be your plan because I'm in Kiev and you're in the east. You are in more danger. But he would be like, it's not going to happen. I don't have a plan. I'm staying here. This is my home. If they come, they come then. And I said, okay, I respect your opinion. I myself thought that the moment something happened, I would fly away. But it became actually opposite. I now have a chance to go anywhere I want in the world, and I choose to stay. My mom lives in Germany for last 5 years, so I have family there and I can live there. They say they can pick me up from Poland anytime. So I have that option at the moment, but I prefer to stay in Lviv this time. As for my friends, close one, I was also talking to them saying like, let's make a plan. What are you gonna do? And they denied. They said, we're not gonna talk about it. Like, don't say crazy things. It's not gonna happen. Why are you creating panic? They ignored this topic. No one believed in it. So this is how situation was. And I guess the last week, the last few days before the war, the tension was more intense because of the news. But still, we didn't believe it will happen. No one was ready.
How does your father feel now?
So we call each other every morning. Now his city, where I'm from, Dnipro, it's actually kind of safe comparison to what's happening in Kiev. So everything works in the city, transport, shops. They have people coming from other areas and they host them. So my dad is he still works because he works in some important governmental organizations, which I'm not going to name, and he has to come there every day. And I know that military gave them extra protection exactly to that office, and they even gave them guns. So my dad sent me a picture that he has a gun now. And he, apart from work, he's volunteering they have to feed people who came from other areas and found housing for them. So when I'm asking him how he feels, he's very positive. He has great sense of humor. So
Wow.
he says like, we are ready. If they come here, we're gonna fight. We're not going anywhere.
Wow. How do you feel about his response?
I'm very proud of him, and it's also one of the reasons I'm choosing to stay. If my dad is here and he's ready to protect home, then I'm gonna stay as well and do whatever I can.
Do you think that part of the Ukrainian spirit is because of the invasion of 8 years ago? Like, how do you explain this fervor in your country?
I would say it's a chain of events, starting from revolution that we had in 2014, yes, and even before that. But I think only now we are actually fully waking up as a nation and feeling it. Yeah, 8 years ago, I was also taking part in those events. I would go to Maidan, I would volunteer there. But at that time, not all of my friends would support that. There were still people who would say, I'm not interested in politics. But now everyone is proud that they're Ukrainian. They wanna stay in the country. They wanna protect the country. So it was chain of events, and now we all like trying to analyze the difference between Ukrainians and Russians, because for a long period of time and still now people are saying that, oh, you guys are very similar, your brothers, and there are a lot of evidence that we are not the same. The mindset is different, because Ukrainians, when we don't like something, we like to say it right away. We like to criticize everything, even like we don't do anything about it, but just having the chance to say, I don't like the mayor, the streets are bad, this house needs renovation, no one is doing things. Just to have the talk is a part of our culture. So freedom is essential for us. And now we see that during these 30 years of independence, we were moving towards more freedom in Ukraine, while Russia was moving away from that. And now they cannot talk they cannot go on the streets, because I have family in Russia as well, and I have family in Belarus, and I have family in East Ukraine, which is the occupied territory. And I feel the difference. So my cousin is in Belarus. He's the same age as me. And we talk on Instagram. He sees news from my page because he says there is no independent media in Belarus. So he kind of learning news from Ukrainian channels. And he said that it's scary quiet there because people are afraid to say anything. He bought some extra food, so he prepares for the worst. My relatives in Russia, they're also quiet. They don't support it. They don't support this war, but they also wouldn't be able to share their opinion online or in their cities. So they quiet. And I also have family in the East Ukraine, which is occupied by Russia for these last 8 years. And there is my uncle and my cousin. And they have been hiding at home because of mobilization. So Russia is trying to gather men in that area to fight against Ukraine. So now they're trying to find a way to send my cousin somewhere outside. Like to Turkey or somewhere. They cannot go to Ukraine now. They can only go to Russia, and then from Russia go somewhere else. So it's a really complicated situation there.
I'm curious how you manage the intensity of the emotion you must be feeling about what's happening right now.
I guess because we prepared for this, we had planned. What we did, we rented an apartment in Lviv, big one, and it's like Doxyme hub in Lviv now. We rented it 2 weeks before the war started, and I was a coordinator for that. So I departed to Lviv 14th of February. I packed for 3 weeks, so I saw that I'm gonna stay in Lviv for 3 weeks. make sure that that hub has everything we need, and then my colleague will come stay next 3 weeks, and we're gonna keep this hub for a few months and see how it goes. The purpose of the hub was to, in case of invasion, for people to stay, to work, and then look for another apartments. Like anything you need, you can come to the hub. So in my mind, I already knew that I'm gonna be in Lviv for a while. I packed accordingly. I had time to pack properly. I took everything I needed, and I came to Lviv, and I spent a week, peaceful week here. I have friends here, so I had some social life. I get used to the hub, to the apartment. So for me, it was not a rush decision to leave my home immediately. I think that's why mentally it was easier for me than for others. And now I'm living with the feeling that I'm just staying a bit longer in Lviv than I planned. I don't have a feeling that I lost my home.
Wow.
And I know that my building in Kyiv is still safe because I'm in contact with my neighbor. I know that my apartment is there, it's safe, but I just don't know when I will be able to come back. And every day we have here a lot of things happening when we're volunteering, helping the team, so mind is busy. I guess also that helps me. I keep myself busy, I work, I help people, and I don't have time to think about the future because I'm too afraid to think about that at the moment.
Yeah. So describe to me what you do during the day.
So first week I was all the time on the phone because we had 50 people in Ukraine, and me and my colleagues of operation team, we were in charge of making sure everyone is safe. We were constantly in communication with them, checking, did they leave home? Where are they now? What if they're on the border, did they manage to leave the country, and so on. So first 2 weeks it was very busy. We were constantly checking on everyone, and I would be in the hub buying some extra bedding, blankets, towels, because people were coming just with small suitcase. They didn't plan to take a lot of things, so I was going to big shopping center. I remember one, it was I think second or third day, one of my colleagues, he had a car. We got in the car, we went to a big shopping center, and there were helicopters above us, just like flying. They were like Ukrainian military helicopters. It was, but we felt like all that emotions that something is happening, even like we're safe, but seeing this military helicopters just flying over the shopping center, it was scary. But because of my past as a flight attendant, I was a flight attendant for 5 years, and because of all the training we had there, I kind of have this strengths when you put yourself together and you do things to help. And you know that if something happened, you can help, like you can be in charge. Because we had first aid training, we had firefighting training, a lot of things. So as a flight attendant, every time you go for a flight, you know that you're in charge of 30 lives on board. You're the only one who can help them in case of anything. So that's what I realized during this situation in Ukraine, that I have that something in me that even if I'm scared, I'm going and doing things and helping and trying to figure out the next step. Now I shifted more to Doxyme tasks because I realized that I have to keep working to spend my money in Ukraine, to pay taxes, to support economy. In the beginning, because we all have a little bit of guilt, like, how can I just go buy things when people are fighting? How can I just go have coffee when so many people need help? But now I'm shifting that, okay, it's good that life goes on. Lviv now is full of people because a lot of people from the east moved here. So restaurants are open, coffee shops are open, you can go to the shopping center. And yesterday I was in the city, it was crowded. And it's good to see, so people are not scared, they go out, they spend money, they support economy, life goes on.
What kind of volunteer work do you do?
So there is a big help center in the city center. You have to register there because a lot of people wants to do it. So you have to register a day before. Then you come, they check that you're in the list, and they tell you where the people need it. It's a 3-floor building. Last time I was sorting clothes. So this center receives all the humanitarian aid from everywhere. Then we unpack all the boxes. And you have to sort out. You bring food to one floor, if it's clothes to another floor, shoes, and so on and so on. It's like huge machine, and it's all built on volunteers. And when you're there, you think like, okay, this has to be controlled somehow and be prepared and built in. But what is great about Ukrainians that we can organize ourselves very fast if it's like for the country. So somehow we all like immediately like, okay, let's do something. So I would sort out clothes. You open the box and it can be like kids clothes, women clothes, men's, everything all together. You just put it in the different piles. Then another floor that has already this sorted out clothes. So people who came from other areas without clothes, just, they grabbed their kids, they took the train, they arrived in Lviv. They would come to this center, they would go to that floor, and we would pack clothes for them.
And then do they usually stay in Lviv for the time being?
At the moment, yeah, I guess it's 500,000. The last time I checked, I'm not sure. But a lot of people arrived, and Lviv organized centers in theaters, in schools. They used any building they could to organize shelters. Most of the women with kids, they're leaving to Poland and nearest countries, but men, due to the military law at the moment, they can't leave the country. So they stay here and they volunteer or just keep working. So there are still a lot of men in Ukraine who are not in the army, but at the same time, they cannot leave the country yet.
Would you be willing to take up arms and fight?
I thought about that. I was thinking recently about how, Israeli army, they have this image of very strong, and they take women as well. So I thought if something like this would be in Ukraine, maybe I would join, because now there is huge interest to the army and military art because of the events we all read in news, and we want to know, okay, what does this word mean? What is this rocket mean? And I've always considered myself a very peaceful person. But now, because it's my home, there are a lot of feelings arises, and I know some people judge and say like, why are you so angry? You cannot hate everyone in Russia. There are a lot of opinions like that. But when I see news, when I see those images, and I know that area in Kiev and I see that it's destroyed, then yeah, I become very angry. And I think if situation would happen that I have to fight, I would do.
So you didn't know that about yourself even 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What other things have surprised you?
That's how we unite as nation and how the whole world is helping us. Eh, that all the foreigner friends I had, they messaged me during the first few days from all over the world, and everyone said, "You can come stay at my place." So that was so important to know that everyone knows what's happening. Everyone is here for us. Yet it still seems like our war, that other countries are not joining the actual war. There is a lot of politics, there are a lot of processes that is happening on that higher level. And yeah, at a point it makes me really sad. I feel helpless that it's 2022 and we had so many international organization, and their job is to keep the world safe, and now it doesn't seem to help. But if you look from the point of view of just my friends all over the world, or just like people in Poland, in Germany, they're doing whatever they can. Like my mom in Germany, she's also volunteering. So it seems like she's packing things in Germany and I'm unpacking them in Ukraine here.
And what are her thoughts about your staying in Ukraine?
She respects my decision. From time to time, she checks on me saying like, are you still staying? Do you want to come? She said, whenever you change your mind, we will pick you up from the border. We'll give you housing, everything you need. But she understands why I'm staying. So,
tell me what you think the hardest part of this has been for you.
The hardest part, I think, is that it's called, I think, the guilt of survival. When you're safe and you have place to sleep and you watch news and you know what people are going through, and you feel that guilt. Also feeling helpless, that this is so unfair, this is so sad, and why it's still going on. It's been 20 days. How come all these powerful people in the world cannot stop it? So dealing with that and not knowing when this will end, when I will be able to come back to my home, and my home will be safe. So these are the hardest things.
And it sounds like the way you've managed that is to work and volunteer and try to enjoy some simple pleasures.
Yes, exactly. Like going, because I'm grateful that I have community here. It's my friends. They're also ex-flight attendants, so we have some common ground. My colleagues from Doxyme, and having people around, it really helps. I see the difference that, we gather in the evening, we laugh, we share dinner, we talk about news, we support each other, we hug. And that's also one of the reasons why I'm not living at the moment, because here I can share this sorrow with my people. And I know if I go to Europe or somewhere else and life there just goes on as usual, people, even if they help and they understand what's going on, it's not happening to their country, right? For them, it's just happening somewhere in Europe. So that would be hard for me not to have the community to share these emotions.
Liza, is there anything else you'd like to share?
I would like to thank Doxyme for the support. All the colleagues were texting us, checking on us, constantly asking how they can help. Brandon, our CEO, he came to Ukraine. It was last week. He flew from US to Poland and then he came to Lviv. He brought ammunition, he brought some humanitarian aid, he visited our hub, and that was incredible. The entire team in Ukraine, we were so grateful and inspired by him. Like, it's very brave. And he showed that he's with us, that we are one family. That's actually like our culture in Doxyme. And even during this time, he showed that, yeah, we are one family. So this was great. So I want to thank Brandon, Doxyme, and everyone in the company for their support.
Wonderful. It sounds like you have three families. Your birth family, well, maybe more. Your family of
Yeah.
friends, your family of flight attendants, and Doxyme. And then your fellow Ukrainians.
Yeah.
All of those people are helping you be brave.
Yes, people is everything.
Yeah.
Especially like this time, you realize you can have a lot of money, but if you need an apartment in Lviv, it doesn't matter. You need connections. You need to know someone to host you or to help you with an apartment. So I was very grateful as well to have all of my families with me.
You know, Brandon told me the story yesterday of how he managed to get from Poland to Lviv. And all of the steps involved miraculous connections with people. It wasn't money, it was people.
Yeah.
So, Liza, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you. Thank you for great questions.